work with the idea of grounding. So grounding covers all ideas of feeling stable, feeling connected, and having that sense as well, I suppose, of drawing energy up from the ground beneath. So having a whole feeling of connection to the earth, and which is a wonderful way of being. So there's always that sense that something will support us. So if we come down, just sort of starting our practice, as I usually do. I don't like saying things like that because another time I'll say that we try not to do habits, but it's always a good way to start. So when we come onto the floor, and if we have the soles of our feet flat to the floor and the knees are bent, so when the legs are in this position, that relaxes the abdominal muscles. When the abdominal muscles relax, the diaphragm muscle, the big muscle underneath the lungs that initiates breath, that muscle there can relax as well. So we will breathe a little bit more deeper, a little bit more easily, with less effort, and ultimately health comes from, being with less effort, so healthy breathing with less effort. So you can let the hands rest on the belly or part of the body that feels comfortable for you, and just coming into contact, first of all, with the feeling of your body resting on the floor. So perhaps starting with your head, the weight of your head, and our heads can be so heavy, just like our shoulders, heavy shoulders resting on the floor, elbows either side. And then taking your attention down through to the back of the ribs, the back of the hips, the pelvis resting on the floor. And then the heels and the feet. And just that sense of connection, stability, being grounded, connected. And keeping your attention on your feet, just lift up your toes a few times, big toes, middle three, and the little toes. And then just letting your toes just find their place, but feeling the big toes, the little toes, the three toes in between. And then the base of those toes, the arch of the foot, the outside edges of the feet, the heels. And just allowing your feet to create a footprint, almost as though the feet are sinking into warm sand, or something quite fluid perhaps. So if you were to lift your feet, there would be an imprint beneath, so really feeling as though your feet connect down into the floor. And then taking your attention to your left foot, really allowing the weight of the left foot to be given down, down, down into the floor as you ever so carefully lift up the right foot. And just feeling the echoes of that small movement in the rest of your body. You're lifting up the right foot, but you're feeling the weight of the left foot go down. And then we're going to take the right leg up towards the ceiling. But the weight of the left foot goes down. And then we're going to lightly push down into the left foot to lift the hips, particularly the right hip. Down through the left foot to send the right leg up. Down through the left foot to send the right leg up. Then if possible, take the hands around the back of the right thigh, just ease the right leg down, or the hands can go above the knee, below the knee, wherever they can go. And now really allow the hips, the pelvis, the lower back to really rest down into the floor. Down, down, down into the floor. Keep that connection down through the left foot. Maybe your hands can go to the right ankle, or the hands might still be around the right thigh. It's absolutely fine. But that feeling down through the left foot allows the right leg to come a little bit lower, and then let go. Bend the right knee, place the right foot back on the floor with care. Now when the right foot comes down, feel the base of the right big toe, little toe, and the heel. You're not pushing, you don't have to push, just allowing the force of gravity to allow the weight of the leg to be given to rest down. So we're not changing that, we're just feeling that. So with your attention on the right foot, trying to change nothing but that feeling of connection through the sole of the foot, we lift up the left foot. Let the left foot hover and let the weight be collected back through to the right foot. You might feel something in the centre of your spine or centre of the body respond as well, because it has to, because that's where the movement travels through. And then we're going to ever so carefully send the left leg up. Now if we just push down, like consciously push down a little bit into the right foot, use that movement down to lift up the left leg. So that will lift your hips just a little bit off the floor, but you're not pushing, you're not forcing to, you're not forcing. That feeling down through the left foot allows the hips to lift. Take the hands around the back of the left thigh, below the knee or above the knee, and then as you relax the movement down through the foot, the right foot, allow the hips to settle and the left leg will lower. Now the movement down through the right foot, that purchase down through the right foot, allows the left leg to come a little bit closer in. But we want the hip, or we want the hips and the lower back to really rest. So we're trying to feel that connection down through the floor. So the leg comes towards us, but the lower back rests onto the floor. So we're not forcing the muscles of the lower back, we're just trying to lengthen. We're trying to find length and space around the hip joints, really, through the feet. And then let go, and then just bring the left foot back down. So we're going to go again. So just connect again down through the feet. You can wriggle the hips around a little bit. Make sure you're breathing. And then we're going to take our attention again to the left foot, that feeling down through the left foot without pushing, but a feeling of resting down. We'll allow the right foot to lift, but allow the right leg to come up. And then can we somehow lift the right hips just with that feeling of connecting down through the left foot? So the hips will start to lift. We can start to allow that right leg to come a little bit lower down towards our chest without using our hands maybe at first. Then as the hips lower, can we catch hold of the ankle or above the knee or below the knee? And the knee can be quite bent, it's fine, you don't have to have a straight leg. So the knees are never locked, or the joints aren't locked, they're not meant to be locked. We're trying to find space and movement, we don't find that through locked joints. And then let go. Then as the right foot comes back down, that feeling resting down through the foot allows the left foot to lift, to take the left leg up. So the movement down through the right foot, through the right foot, into the ground beneath, gives us that sense that we can lift the hips to send the left leg up. So if you're attentive enough, all we're trying to do is feel those movements, that kind of springiness that comes up from the floor beneath. And as the left leg lowers towards our chest, or we're trying to get the left foot above the top of the head, allow the hips to rest down, and then the hands might go towards the ankle or above the knee or below the knee, wherever feels right for you. So you're not trying to pull the leg, we're not trying to grab hold of it and force the leg, we're just trying to feel the weight of the leg. The connection through the right foot allows the left leg to come a little bit lower down, but you're not forgetting that part of you that really can use the floor beneath to allow that movement to travel through the right hip to the left hip and beyond to the left ankle. So we're trying to find connection. So grounding is connection, being grounded is connection into the floor, resting and using the floor to find movement through the spine, and then let go. So then we just allow the foot or the feet to come back onto the floor. Hands can rest on the centre of the spine, and just feeling how that is in your body through the feet. And then just feeling your breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to come over onto our side. We're going to come up into all fours. So I just tie my hair back. So we're going to come into all fours. So the wrists are more or less underneath your shoulders, and your knees are underneath your hips. And again, we're just trying to find that sense of connection down through the floor. So now you've got the hands resting on the floor, you've got the knees, and lift up one hand at a time, lift up one knee at a time. And then just being aware of the position that you have in space. So shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, elbows, wrists. So if we allow ourselves to push into the hands, if you push into the hands, feel what happens into your shoulders. If you really sink or push into the knees, feel what happens in the lower back. So now we're just going to try to kind of shift that, I suppose. So we're going to allow the top of the head to hang, and then between the shoulder blades draw up. And that allows us, in a sense, to lift up the wrists, or one wrist at a time, a lot more lightly. Now if you've got anything going on with your wrists, you can come up onto your knuckles, or you might even be able to try this on your elbows. And then as we sink between the shoulders, really allow the weight of the hand, weight through the arms to sink into the wrists. So as we sink down into the floor, and that allows the spine sinks. You go into that extension or back bend quite naturally. And then between the shoulder blades we draw up. And that gives us a sense that we can lift the wrist at any time. And then between the shoulder blades, just let yourself sink. So we're just mobilising the spine, but feeling that connection down through the floor. So the movements become more than just mobilising the spine, they become that feeling of connection and that feeling of being able to rest from a deeper place, or move from a deeper place, perhaps I should say. And then just come back to a neutral spine, come back to a neutral spine. Lift up one wrist at a time, lift up one knee at a time, so we know that we can be connected to the floor, but without being heavy. So now knowing where your hips are in space, can we just send the right leg back without lifting the hip or changing anything too much in the shoulders, and then bring the knee back? And then can we send the left leg back? Lift up one wrist at a time, just rock a little bit from side to side. Try not to change anything around the hips too much. And then just do that a few more times, sending one knee back or one leg back, and then bringing it back to where you started. And then we're just going to come back to centre, and then just take the hands a little bit further forward, because that often makes it easier. But if it doesn't for you, obviously you bring your hands back to where it feels a better place for you. So maybe a little bit further forward, maybe a little bit wider. Now know where your shoulders are in space, know where your hips are in space. Feel the connection through the wrists. Now you've got the inside of the wrists as well as the outside of the wrists, the thumbs as well as the base of the little fingers. So try not to push into the hands, because pushing will just tense up your shoulders. So there's a space in the palm of your hand. As you just know where the hips are in space, as you send the right leg back, toes tuck under, and you feel the connection, the base of the big toe, the little toe. And if possible, without changing too much, can you send the left leg back? And then just come back. Make sure you're breathing, send the left leg back. Now you just do one leg at a time. If it's enough for you, don't do one leg at a time. If it's possible, can you send both? And then come back to all fours. And then just try that. You don't have to hold it. None of this is about holding. It's about finding that connection through the floor. And that feeling of, is there a feeling that we can come up away from the floor, not sink down? And then come back. And then just knees to back in all fours. And just rock the hips from side to side. This kind of mobilises the knees a little bit, massages the knees. And as you rock from side to side, ease your hips back towards your heels. Kind of see how that is. That kind of relaxes or lengthens the lower back, because plank position is a strong muscle, is a strong movement for the lower back muscles as well as the abdominals. And then come back into all fours when you're ready. So we're just going to progress that movement. So this time what we're going to do, we're going to lift up the right wrist. Now move the right shoulder, roll the head from side to side, and as you turn your head towards the right, can you lift the arm up towards the ceiling? So you're opening up the chest, and then lower. Lift up the left wrist, move the arm, move the shoulder, turn your head to the left, and make sure you've got space between the chin and the shoulder, and as you open the arm up, turn the gaze up towards the ceiling, and then lower. And then just do the same on the other side. We're going to, but maybe differently. Circle the right shoulder a little bit, and then lift up the right wrist, come up through the right shoulder to take the arm up towards the ceiling. So just opening up through the arm. Lower, and then circle the left shoulder, and as you lift the left wrist, the arm comes up, the gaze comes up towards the ceiling, and then lower. And then we're going to take the left leg back, know where the hips are in space, and we're going to lift up through the right arm to take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Going to feel that movement down through the left hand, maybe down through the opposite leg, and then come back, and then ease back. And then we're going to lengthen the right leg away, we're going to take the left arm up. Can you feel that connection down through the right toes and through the right wrist, and then come back, and then just settle back, ease the hips back towards your heels. And then let's just do that one more time. So coming into all fours, you feel the connection down through the hands but you're not pushing. Feel the connection down through the knees but you're not pushing. So when we lengthen the right leg away, we can feel the movement down through the left knee, but can we feel as though we can lift the left knee? So we're trying not to push or sink. into whatever's in contact with the floor. So the right leg is lengthened away and we're going to take the left arm up towards the ceiling. And the head or the gaze will turn and then come back. Well, gaze will turn if possible. Bring the knee back, lengthen the left leg away so you can feel the connection through the base of the toes, wide shoulders, soft jaws. You're not tensing anything up. You can feel the connection through the hips, through the spine, to the shoulders, to the wrist. And if possible, can we lift up the right arm and turn the gaze? We're not pushing into the hand, we're not pushing into the back foot. We're feeling as though we can come up from the floor. And then lower, and just ease your hips back towards your heels. So let's just go again. We'll see where we are. So we can do the same thing, just opposite arm and leg, or we could just work into side plank. So if we come into all fours again, if we take the hands a little bit further forward, feel that sense of connection through the wrists, insides and the outsides, and through the knees. But we're not sinking, we're not pushing into the floor. Always can we feel as though we can come up from the floor. So if possible now, can we lengthen the right leg away? Can we lengthen the left leg away? And then if possible, without doing too much through the hips or too much, can we just turn the feet towards the right and open the right arm up? And then come back. And then can we do the same on the other side? So you can, in between, you can come back into child's pose if you like. Or just go straight into it. So you maybe take the hands a little bit further forward, a little bit wider, but just kind of figuring out, you're not pushing into the hands. And when you send the legs back, you're not pushing through the feet. Always a feeling that we can come up from the floor. So as we just turn the feet to the left, can we open the left arm up? Can we take the gaze up? But we try not to do too much through the hips. And you can just come back to centre and ease back. And then just try that again. One more time each side. Just kind of seeing. So it's more about the feeling of where your hips are in space, where your shoulders are in space. So we're not trying to, well, probably we know that we can do it. It's not really about doing the thing. It's about how. How can we find this position with as much care and attention to the support beneath us as possible. So it's not about doing things. I think we do far too much just for the sake of it. It's about how we can do it. And it's about coming into contact with the feeling and that lovely connection that we can find from the ground beneath. And when you've done, as much as you want to each side, just ease back into child's pose and just allow the weight of the head to be given and allow the weight of your body to be given to the floor. Because we hold on to ourselves so much, don't we? Because we know that we're so precious. We feel that we're so precious, and we are. But sometimes we can let go of that and just allow the weight of our body, our precious body, to be given to rest. And to know that we don't have to hold. We can sometimes just let go. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up onto your heels, come to sit, just orientating yourself, so knowing where you are, and then we're going to come to stand. We're going to come to stand. So working with this idea of grounding, being grounded, stable, finding a stable base, allows us to find balance. So if you've got chairs around you, you can always balance, you can always hold on if you're really not sure. You can have I've got a wall here obviously, so I've got that kind of comfort that I can always touch the wall. So we're going to feet or release it width apart, focus your gaze, and we're just going to lift up the right knee. So you can keep your toes on the floor, the right toes on the floor, or if you're feeling brave, we can lift the right knee. We can take the arms out. So just kind of feeling, and you can wobble, because obviously we're fluid, we're not static, we're not made of concrete. You can wobble around, but just find your balance, focus your gaze, and then see, is it possible to turn your head to the right, come to centre, to turn your head to the left, and you can wobble, and let that foot, that standing foot, move. Let that standing foot stabilise you. So you're strengthening your ankle, you're strengthening that standing leg. And then if it's possible to turn the head from side to side, can you take the gaze up? Can you take the gaze down? So we're just rebalancing and finding the centre of our spine or the centre of our body in a different way. And learning to balance, so called stabilising ourselves in this way, is really good because it can prevent us having falls or help us get up more easily if we do slip or if we fall. Then last thing, is it possible to touch your toes? And then you come back up and you lower the leg. And when the feet come back onto the floor, both feet resting on the floor, can you feel that stable base? And then let's go on the other side. So we're going to lift up. We can come onto the tips of the left toes at first, because if you don't want to lift the knee, then you just work with that. So you've got that tips of the toes on the floor. And if you can lift the knee, you lift the knee. You focus the gaze. We can open the arms. Now you find that foot, you find the standing foot, the base of the big toes, the little toes and the heels. You find the ankle, soften the knee, the right knee a little bit. Just kind of see. If you need to touch or hold the wall or wherever you are, then obviously that's what you do. None of it is a failure. Everything is just a part of the process. And if it's possible, you can turn your head to the right. You can turn your head to the left. See how that is. Notice the wobbling through the foot, and it will wobble because we're not made of concrete or stone. We're water-based. And then when you're ready, you take the gaze up. You take the gaze down, if possible. And you will wobble, and why wouldn't you? And then if possible, can you touch your toes? Can you touch your toes? Can you come up? Or down, and then you lower the foot. And then just stand, just come to stand. So you have that sense of the feet beneath. Base the big toes, and you can look at your feet if you like. Base the big toes, little toes, heels. The inside edges of the foot, the big toes, the outside edge of the foot, the arch. And then just let your arms come to rest down by your side. Shoulders rest, gaze rests on the floor, and if possible, close your eyes. And just being aware of the weight of your arms, the weight of your shoulders, your head, all supported by your feet beneath. And how does that feel, just to have a sense of your feet supporting you, connected to the earth, as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Just resting here for as long as it feels okay for you, all right for you. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. Just reconnecting to yourself and your surroundings and knowing where you are. And just having that sense of quietness perhaps, or whatever you're feeling right now, as you just continue with the rest of your day. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.